Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining us once again for the RealNex User Group. Today, we're thrilled to have David Monroe, CCIM, join us. David is full-time CCIM chapter leader. He is a active practitioner in the market in the multifamily world, and he is on the business development side working with RealNex. So he has tremendous applied experience using the platform, working with the platform, working with many of you also on getting you onboarded, up and running, and using the platform. Today, we're going to talk about winning business presentations that sell, putting together a complete proposal package and presentation that showcases you, your firm, your experience, and marketing strategy to not just win business, but then execute the plan. So we are really excited to hear what David has to say in that regard. We've got a lot more to come next week. We'll talk about some of the highlights of the future calendar, but with this user group session, we want to be interactive as we can. So ask questions along the way. I'll post them, poll David at appropriate moments, and we'll take care of them. And of course, we want you to join our Facebook user group and be interactive with that environment as well throughout the days and weeks to come. But this is our monthly session to get on board and to have a real applied training session. So David, thank you for taking the helm and walking us through winning business with MarketEdge.
No worries. And for those of you that are CCIMs, I see a few of you in the attendee box taking a break from our mid-year meetings. I know we had 2 meetings earlier already today. I think there was even a third. I was in 2 of them. So take a break, jump on here. Let's do a little education, show you how we use this to build some winning proposals, and then we'll jump back on some more of those meetings for those of us involved in that. So as Jeff said, I am an active multifamily broker, investor, and consultant, even though I also work for RealNex, currently working on a deal in Alabama right now that we're trying to bring to the table. So of course, multifamily, because that's what I do. So most of what you're going to see today is going to involve multifamily because that's where I live. We're going to go over how to create a marketing plan. I'm going to show you the broker opinion of value part of our system, how you can add other users to your presentation, as well as bringing in rent comps and sold comps, which will be part of that broker opinion of value, so you can get to an amazing presentation that you can win some business with. I'm also going to show you where it makes sense, because from what I understand, for those of you that have been kind of following this series over the last week or so, you really haven't been shown how to use the guide me function. So I'm just going to showcase that real quick right here. Won't take but a minute. If I'm here and I'm a designee, CCIM designee, and I don't have any of the other part of the platform regarding the entire suite of tools, and I just have MarketEdge, or even if you're not a designee and you just have MarketEdge, then to create a new property, you would normally just click new property and create it. Well, if this is your first time or one of your first times going through it, you can come up here to this blue guide me button, click on it, pick the package that you're looking for, whether it's a multifamily investment package, office, industrial, commercial would include retail. Pick that package and then just click on create new property, and then the guide me will come up and will actually walk you through exactly what to do. If you just wait for it, it'll give you an example, wait for you to type it in, hit next, and we'll tell you exactly how to build this. And it will continue to walk you all the way through the process, all the way to the package. It then stops. When we get to the package, I will show you where it picks back up at that time. All right, so I'm going to go into Summit Apartments. And the first thing I'm going to do is come over here to Output. And I'm going to show you what a stellar package looks like. So give this a second to load. While this is loading, this would be a good time if anybody had any questions or comments, because this does take, it's about a 50+ page document and has some high quality imagery in it. So, oh, here we go. My internet's working good today, even though I've been in Zoom meetings all day. So that's pretty amazing. All right, so obviously cover page. So I'm just going to kind of flip through this and let you see it. And this is an EPUB document. You get a link for it. So you'll get this exact kind of style, or you can download it as a PDF. But if you guys can hear that, it actually flips the page and you have the sound of flipping the page. Here's some photos and maps. I like to do the 4-page photos. It just works real well with multifamily. I'll do interior, amenities, and exterior. It's kind of how I do mine. Then you get some aerials. You can get down to 3D imagery. Oh, this was supposed to be my retail map. My last demo, I was showing somebody how you can go into a downtown area and get into 3D imagery and then do some labels. So in the retail map or in your business map, when you're creating it, it saves the last page you were on. So I forgot to go back and reset it. So this is our investment analysis section. So you can see how good looking this package is. I don't like bar charts and graphs because they all do the same thing. They all go up evenly, and but I just wanted to throw these in so you can see how good looking they look. Then we get into, we're going to cover this today. This is the opinion of value. So this is your actual opinion here. Then you have your 2 valuation methods, the income method and the sale comp method, your conservative approach, your aggressive approach, and your average approach. And then you've got your income method and you describe it, your comparable method, describe it, and then it gets into the comps. So this is the rent comps, and I'll show you how to pull the rent comps. And then here's the sale comps. And of course, we'll also show you how to pull the sale comps. This is my favorite section. For you CCIM folks out there, you're going to recognize this. Let me blow this page up just a little bit here. So you can see that this is our demographic information. So I know most of you see those portrait pages where you have the dozens and dozens of lines of demographic information on a PDF document. It's ugly, it's hard to decipher. And if you're showing something to a client, do you want to show them that? Or would you rather show them a nice, beautiful infographic that is very easy to understand? I actually built this one from scratch. I went into Site to Do Business, went into infographics, build infographics, and built this one because this has everything specific for multifamily, to include throwing in a picture. For any of you that don't know, this is a property in St. Louis. I'm not going to say which one. If there's one person on here that knows this property well, he will recognize it. All right, so let me minimize back down again. This is population trends from Site to Do Business, employment overview from Site to Do Business, transportation to work, nearby apartments, and you can do nearby apartments, nearby hospitality, nearby storage, nearby restaurants, nearby shopping malls. You can change what you do inside Site to Do Business to pull these demographics. And then of course, benchmark demographics, which we teach you in CI 102 and is one of our favorite documents. Then you will recognize this. This is the tapestry. So I always bring this in for my psychographics, and I just brought one in. Normally I'll bring in 3, but there was no reason on this one to do that. But you can see how nice it flows right into our report builder. We're going to go over marketing plan a little bit today. So here's a marketing plan. This is just a typical 120-day call for offers on a multifamily property, real basic. So we'll go over how to build that. And then of course your I love me page. All right, so that is what a stunning proposal looks like. So how do we build that cotton picking thing? Well, you can come down here and you can grab your components and you can pull them up here if you know what to pull up. If you don't, guess what? We've got that covered for you. So if you come up here to templates, right above the proposal builder, come up here to templates, open that up, you're probably not going to have anything here. All right, if you don't, no big deal. This little gray icon is going to show up right here with this little eye. You'll probably have cover sheet right here. If you don't have cover sheet, the first thing you do when you click on this is you want to create a cover sheet. You have to have a cover sheet to do the rest of it. My guess is, because I'm pretty sure our developer has defaulted that all new accounts has a cover sheet there, you won't have to worry about that. That's just in case. Then you're going to click proposal, and even if you're going to do an OM, if you have not done a proposal yet, go ahead and click proposal first, because the only difference between the offering memorandum and the proposal is the proposal has the broker opinion of value in it and the marketing plan. Strip out those two things and you've got your offering memorandum. So I always recommend just build the proposal first, then name it, and then go ahead, strip those two components out and then rename it, save it as new as an offering memorandum, and now you have your two templates moving forward. So if you click proposal and you hit start, and I'm not going to hit start because that will erase everything I've built here and I don't want to do that. But it's showing you when you hit start, just like it did with the guide me on the front page, it's going to point to what it wants you to grab. You're going to grab it, hold your mouse down, pull it up into the white space, let go, and then it'll point to the next thing it wants you to do, grab it up, let it go. It takes about 5 minutes and you can build this entire proposal in about 5 minutes. Then all you have to do is go in and edit your pictures, edit some of your information, put in a couple of the section page images, and you're done. From a template, you can do one of these in about 30 minutes, okay? So that's how you do that. And then once you get it, type it in, save as new, and now it'll save it. So next time when you come in to do the next property and all you see is cover sheet, you just pull down the one you want, click load, it'll load the framework, but it won't load the content, just the framework. And then you got to go in and put in your images, put in your bring in your rent comps, your sale comps, your demographics, things like that. All right. So that's how you can quickly build one of these as a template. All right. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's first talk about the opinion of value. So if I come down to the BOV, because we're talking about building proposals to win business, it's not going to look like this when it first comes up. It'll all be blank. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up here to edit page, and I need to turn my volume down on my phone so that doesn't do that again. Okay, and the other phone is on do not disturb, I believe. It is. Just want to make sure. So if I hit edit page, now I can say, all right, well, I want the summary report, which is kind of what you're seeing here, the investment method and the comp method. So if you want both investment and comp, click both. If you only want one or the other, just select one or the other. The summary report, this is where you put all your text in for the overall value. So you've done your income method, you've done your comparison method. Together, you've came up with this summary. So this was the total summary. Here's the summary of why you think it's valued for this based on the income method, and then the cap rates that you used to get there. And then this is the summary of your comp method. And then you could put notes in up to 6 properties, okay? Your subject notes and any notes about the 6 properties. So that's all you have to fill out there, and that will give you these pages. So where does all this information come from? Well, we need to do rent comps and sale comps. So if it hasn't been put up here already, you'll come down here, you'll find your rent comp, sale comp, you'll grab it, bring it up. It's that simple. Once it's in here, Again, you come to edit page. Well, now I have to add my rent comps. If you've already got a bunch of rent comps in here, you can just select it and it'll automatically bring it down. If you don't have anything here yet, I'll show you in a second how you can get them. Once you've got the ones you have down here, now you see there's two other tabs up here. I can go to options and I could say, okay, I want to, you remember on the pages you saw for mine, there were charts. We had it broke out into individual comps, and we also included a map, and the map will take up to 21 locations. Okay, then the first thing you do is you bring in your subject photo. The address and the name will already be here. Photo is probably already going to be here as well from your main page. And then put in your information about the subject property. Then come here to adjusted analysis, and just like the appraisers do, you can give it a weighted average and then score your comps based on these weighted averages. And of course, this will be for the comparable method, not the income method. All right, any questions so far? I'm not seeing anything in the chat, so I'm going to keep going. Jeff, stop me if there's any questions. I'm not paying too close attention to the chat.
I will certainly do that. Right? Yeah, I think we're good to go. Most of these we can pick up later on.
Okay. All right. So if you look down here, you can see some have a price in my comps and some don't. But I have all these selected as rent comps. Well, just because it has sale prices doesn't mean it's a rent comp. If it doesn't have a sale price, obviously it's not a sale comp. So these two can be used as rent or sale either way. Well, if I don't have anything up here to use, I'm going to come up here to add edit comps, and I'm going to come to my comp manager. Right? If you have nothing here, then you can import comps. So you can do it a couple of ways. If you have core CRM, so if you've got the suite, you have core CRM, and you have all your comps inside core CRM, you can import them in from here. You just click on core CRM, select the group where they're located. So if I come down here, I've got, those are lease comps. There they are, San Diego comps. I hit search. And now I have a bunch of comps that I can bring in from the San Diego market if that's the market I'm working. So all these came from the CRM. I can select them all, or I can just select the ones I want to bring in for this specific property. Okay. And then import them in. That imports them into the main section. So I think if we look here, see these greens? These ones that are green were imported from the CRM. Right? You notice a lot of Mobile, Foley, Pensacola. That's because I imported those. All right. The other thing we can do is we can click import. So if you've gone into CoStar or you've gone into Reonomy and you've pulled comps from CoStar or Reonomy, now obviously if they're rent comps, you're not going to get rent comps from Reonomy. You can from CoStar, or maybe you have Axiometrics or Yardi or whatever else you use to get your rent comps. Then you can click import. Make sure you follow these directions. So it'll give you an explanation of required format. Read this because this information right here is going to be very important, as well as this information right here when you do your import. So make sure you pay attention to that. And then I think I killed my import there. Yep, there it was. So back to import. And then you also have a sample CSV file that you can use. My recommendation would be to pull your comps, copy the columns that you want into the new report so it comes in perfectly clean when you bring it in. Obviously, choose files, pretty self-explanatory, and then upload it, and boom, it'll come in. Once it's in, the one thing it won't bring in are images. So you can come over here to edit, and then you can go ahead and add the photo at that point. Just click here and then go look for your photos. Okay, that's simple enough. And then check for any other information you have to add about this comp. So if it's a rent comp, obviously you're going to want this information in here. Now, because this is a multifamily property, the unit mix shows like this. If it was a commercial property, it would show differently. All right. So that's how you do that. And you can do the same thing for the sold comp. So you can see some I've got sold. This one was an on market, But anyone you see, even though it says sold, if it's got zeros next to it, I'm using those as strictly rent comps, but I can use any of these sold comps as well. All right. Any questions on importing your comps into your database so that you can do your broker opinion of value? Because that's what it's going to pull from. The income method is going to pull from the rent comps. The comparable method is going to pull from the sold comps.
Yeah, there was a question of where do you get the comps? Comps do not come with the system. Those are your personal comps. So they, as David said, they could come from any third party. And what's great about using this is that you get to augment the comp data with your personal knowledge of any nuance and any particular attributes that make it better or worse than the subject property. And you can also do it from if you've got community sharing of information or other crowdsourcing of comps, or just your own knowledge of the market. So you build your spreadsheet or database of comps, either build it and keep it in CRM, or you can bring it straight into MarketEdge. There was a question, David, about you're doing multifamily, but if you just want to show quickly that this could be industrial, it could be office, it could be retail, you just happen to be showing a template for multifamily. It really all works the same, but instead of using a unit mix, you're going to have a tenant rent roll and that type of thing as a subtle difference, but generally speaking, it's the same process.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the market. And I call it the market. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it demographics. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I just call it the market. The other thing I want to mention is these section pages. Some people use them, some people don't. Well, you notice the image behind it. If I come up here to edit page and I go for photo, because it'll default to none, and that's kind of what the section page looks like if it was none. If you click custom and then click inside, I can now go in and I can select whatever image I want or upload an image to put back there. So I get these images from free image sources like iStock Photo, any kind of stock photo website that you can get these images from. They're great to pull from and put in here, and it just makes your package pop even that much more. I leave the section names the same, but I'll change the subsection to whatever my subsection is. And then we have 3 layouts. You've got, well, 4. So you have no photo at all, which basically it just says section and market. There's single photo with the circular in there like this one. Photo 2, which is my favorite. And then photo 3 kind of puts it over here and pops the picture a little bit better. So it just depends on your preference. My preference is photo 2. Okay, I just wanted to show that to you. Let that load a second. And then what I want to show you, especially for, I see a lot of CCIM members in here. So I want to show you guys, and this allows us to showcase and show you how to use the PDFs, custom PDF function. When I do my demographics, I go into Site to Do Business, like I mentioned earlier, and I bring in my infographics. So this won't take but a second. I'll go to stdb.com and I'll log into Site to Do Business. And once I get in here, I'll go open, get into Business Analyst. And while that's loading, if you're trying to access RealNex MarketEdge from here, all this does is take you to our landing page, realnex.com/CCIM, to allow you to sign up the first time as a designee or a candidate so that we can verify that you're a designee or a candidate. Beyond that, you're just going to go to realnex.com and log in from the main page. So don't use this to try to log in. And also know, for those of you that aren't RealNex members yet, RealNex and CCIM Tech are not the same company. CCIM Tech does not own any part of RealNex. We are 2 completely separate entities. So don't try to log into RealNex with your CCIM login. It won't work. All right, just wanted to point that out because we have a lot of people that try to do that. All right, so when I'm in business analyst, I can come up here to here, click on my point and click infographics. Okay, when I click infographic, it's going to build that infographic for me real quick. And of course, as always, my default is my multifamily infographic that I created. I can come up here into the upper left-hand corner and I can search anywhere in here for any infographic I want. Well, to get it into MarketEdge, I just come here to export infographic. Make sure you do not add a header, data source, any of this. Leave all this blank. Leave it just the way it is. Make sure it's PDF and not an image. Hit create PDF. That'll download it to your computer as a PDF. Remember where you download it from. And then when you're in MarketEdge, you click edit page, click upload, go get that PDF, and that'll bring it in here. You want to frame it, and by framing it, that will allow you to put your header and footer in here. You don't have to frame it if you don't want, but it will shrink the PDF down enough where it'll look the way it does now. If it doesn't look right, you can shrink it more by putting a percentage of a shrinkage here and just test it out. Start with 20, see how it looks. If that's too much, go to 10, 5. But from what I have found, our developer has done a great job of shrinking it pretty close to what it should be. And then just give it a title. So that's where this demographics right here comes from, is give it a title and hit save. And that's how you bring in a custom PDF. You can bring in up to 25 custom PDFs. This one specifically has just one page. But if we go to like my psychographics and I go to Metro Renters, this is one custom PDF, but it's got 4 pages. So if you have 25 custom PDFs and they all have 4 pages, now you have a 100-page document. I don't recommend that, but you never know. So I just want you to make aware of that. And you can come down here. If you look in the very bottom corner, I don't know if you guys see my cursor, follow my cursor into the bottom corner. Very bottom corner, you see PDF attachments. All you have to do is grab the attachment, pull it up, drop it, click on it, and just like before, it's going to be this blank document. And don't worry if you're coming in with landscape, it's going to show portrait. When you bring it in and you upload it, it's going to just upload that way. So and it'll come in landscape, it won't come in portrait if it's a landscape document. All right, so that's how you do that. If I didn't want that document, I just click the little X and that gets rid of it. Okay, so that's how you bring in your demographics and psychographics from site to do business. I can guarantee you that unless you're a CCIM and unless you've been through my class on how to do this, and unless you're using RealNex, nobody else in your market is using this. This by itself is going to separate you from everybody else. So you're already in the front runner for winning business with our presentations. Any questions on how to bring in custom PDFs or using demographics? Now let me show you, while I'm waiting for questions, what
there are other questions, not in those areas, but there are a couple of some foundation questions that just might be helpful. You can set up custom colors. So every company's got their own brand and their own look and their own feel. So your colors come up, you set them once, and you're good to go. You have a primary and secondary color that works on your cover page and your interior. You have your logo. You may have multiple logos, a color logo, a white logo, a black logo, depending on what the background is that it's sitting on. So that will give you some selectability. David, you might go into that when you show it. And then there's a ton of questions. I just wanted to cover those few things before you got too far advanced. And then if you're going to go into financial analysis, there's a question on how do you set up loan information and some of the financing. I know you'll get to that in a bit. And I'll let you get back to it, and I'll come in with some other questions as you go along.
Okay, so there was not a plan to do financial analysis today. So remind me as we get towards the end to address the loan question, because that's a great question. And we have the most powerful loan platform other than Argus, and we have one of our Argus people on this call today, and of course that's the most powerful financial analysis model you can build. I like to call ours Argus Lite. So we've done a great job of putting that in place. So I just wanted to show you, if you're not using infographics for your presentation, here's what the regular demographics look like. I'll let you guys decide which you would rather have. I'm going to do a little plug for the Institute here, since we are in our mid-year meetings right now. If you're not a CCIM member, the cost for Site to Do Business is $1,400 a year if you're not a CCIM member. And member just means you pay your annual dues. Doesn't mean you're a designee. You don't even need to be a candidate. You just need to pay your annual dues to the CCIM Institute, which is $650 a year, and you get access to Site to Do Business free. On top of all other benefits that you get, the discounts in education and everything else. So the cost of membership for CCIM is 45% the cost of Site to Do Business, and I've already shown you the power of it. So that's my plug, my shameless plug for the Institute. Any questions on that? Email at the end.
One more plug is you get MarketEdge as well.
Oh, and you get MarketEdge for free,
by the way.
And candidates. So again, if you're a CCIM member, you're paying the $650 a year, you get 20% off any of our products on their annual subscriptions as candidates. Okay. So yeah, second shameless plug. All right. You can never come to a webinar and not expect some kind of sales pitch, right?
And the maps, David, there's a question, do the maps come from Site to Do Business? The psychographic, the demographics, but RealNex comes with a host of maps and different views that automatically plot and locate the property just based on its address. We geocode and get it set up for you. So those maps come in, and you can do a lot with the customization of them.
Correct. And to more specifically, no, those maps don't come from Site to Do Business. I think they come from Google, but I'm not sure. There might be a combination of where they come from. We have a few different APIs, but our maps up here, like these aerial maps, do not come from Site to Do Business.
Yeah, they are Google, but with a third party that helps us give some additional enhancements to it.
Right. Okay, so next let's talk about marketing plans. All right, so if you look at this, for any of those in the multifamily world, this will be very familiar to you. Typically, when somebody does a call for offers, first thing they have to do, they might send that initial email out, email blast to database in week 2. First thing they're going to do is start preparing that OM. Okay, now for the big brokerage houses, their people have to build their OMs in InDesign. Good luck with that. So they need to start a week ahead of time to get those OMs built. Week 2, they upload all the listings to the exchanges. They start emailing their database. Week 3, week 4, email database once a week all the way to closing. Starting in week 4, we're changing the listings or we're updating those listings in all the exchanges, wherever those exchanges are. By exchanges, I mean LoopNet, Crexy, RealNex Marketplace, Catalyst, wherever those are located. Then starting in week 5, now we're starting to do property tours. By week 7, we're receiving LOIs. Our offers are now coming due. We're counter offering week 7. By week 8, we determine the buyer, and then by week 9, we draft our purchase agreement, go into due diligence. That continues all the way through till that week 16 where we're closing on that property. Okay, typical call for offers for a multifamily property. Well, how did I build this? Well, it's pretty simple. Come up here to edit page. You get 5 categories. So if I move this out of the way, hopefully you guys can see this. Category 1 is marketing. You see marketing? You can change these names and you can have up to 5 categories. All right. Then items are prepare OM, upload to exchanges, upload listings. Those are items. So if I click items, all those items will show up. You can do up to 6 months, and the minimum is 2 months. Okay, so 2 to 6 months. In this case, we're doing 4. Then, so it knows where you're going with this, prepare OM. I got my different categories because I created 4 categories up here. There's 4 categories here. So I just select which category this is for, what week that's going to occur in, and then does it happen never, once, weekly, every 2 weeks, monthly, every 2 months, 3 months, ongoing. So it just depends on what your marketing plan is. And you can build this up to 6 months. All right. And you can fill every one of these lines. And I don't think you can add any more. So try to keep it to, what do we have here? 5, 10, 11, 12. We have 15 items you can put in. So if you've got 5 categories, you could put 3 per category, or, you know, kind of do it the way I did it. So it could be as in-depth or as basic as you want. Once you get it, save your template, especially if it's something you're going to be doing time and time again. Like for me, for multifamily, this is my multifamily template. So the next one I come in after building my, hitting load to build my framework, when I come to marketing plan, I hit edit page, I'm going to load template, and it's just going to load this right back in just like it would, hit save, and I'm done. I don't have to go back and rebuild this every single time. All right. Any questions on the marketing plan?
I would just add, David, that the 2 of the components here we have integrated into RealNex as well. So you can run your e-market campaign from Marketplace. So the flyer creation and the campaigns can be sent out to your CRM target market, any list of apartment buyers that you have, or to the RealNex community. And the other piece is, and we're going to talk about this in depth next week, is a deal room. So we have a private and secure deal room where you can host all of the due diligence information. I'm not going to go into that today, but that's another part of how we manage and accelerate the process prior to the call for offers that you talked about.
Yes, for those of you that know me, you know that deal room is my favorite part of this entire package, the entire suite. I think there is more value in the deal room than there is in the rest of this. Let me give you an example. If you were to go to Real Capital Markets, rcm1.com, and you want to pay for their deal room, which is almost identical to ours, it's going to cost you $2,500 per property, and that's without using their database. If you want access to their database, it's going to cost you $5,000. All right, and it's included with our MarketEdge. And for designees, you get it for free. The value in the deal room is unbelievable. If you're not on for next week's call for the deal room, you need to rethink that, because it is absolutely my favorite part of this entire package, and I use it in my multifamily property. So all this you see for this call for offers, this is all done inside my deal room, and I don't have to go anywhere else. I can do it completely off market. I don't have to list on any of the exchanges, because I just send to my database and the property gets sold through the database. So anyway, I just wanted to plug the deal room. That's a very, very powerful platform. All right. One thing I do want to show, that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of the proposal for building a package that you're going to put in front of an owner to get that sale, or to get that listing or get that opportunity. The one thing I do want to show you is you can put more than one person on your packages. So if I go to the cover sheet, I think we'll see 3 people. I don't have that type of cover sheet on this one. But if I come up here to options and I go to proposal contacts, Right now, you just have me. Well, if I go to alternate, now I can add 2 other people to my package, okay? And you can put their license numbers if your state requires it. So you can have up to 3 people on your package, all right? So just be aware of that. If you're going to, remember I showed you our I Love Me page. So if I come to a professional bio and you have your I Love Me page, your I Love Me page will only showcase the primary broker for the package or the primary investor if you're doing your own offering. If you want to bring in more or other bios, then you can create a custom PDF outside and then just bring it in as a custom PDF. So that is that workaround. If you have either more than 3, like sometimes Cushman and Wakefield, CBRE, Berkadia, they'll have 5, 6 people on one team. So if you build in Word a bio sheet for all 5 or 6 and then just save it in PDF and then upload it into here, it'll do the exact same thing, okay? There is one other piece. I personally don't like to use it in my packages. So let me see if I can find it. And that is, I think it's in Snapshot. I got to find it here. That's not projections. So, Jeff, where's the listing, your previous listings that you can also include with this? Where's that located? I don't use it, so I'm not sure where it's at, but I wanted to show it to you. If I can find it.
I was on mute. I apologize. So I think it's under the it's called transaction history. So
Yeah,
you
transaction history.
You can show your transactions, which is different than comps, but just gives a report of all of your transactions. Maybe under module reports.
I thought so, but it's not there. So I don't know what happened to it. I've lost it.
Maybe because you don't like it. It's we took it away from you. That's okay.
Probably what it is. No worries. Anyway, so there is a section in here for whatever reason.
You've got it up in there already, recent transactions, right? That's why it's not showing up down below. It's right up.
Oh, here it is. It's hidden.
It's already in the report.
That needs to be down here. All right. So if I had any recent transactions to show in here, and I don't ever showcase recent transactions, so I didn't put any in here. If you had any, they would show up in here. Okay. I just wanted to show that to you guys. I'm gonna get rid of that. Yeah, custom reports. That's where it should have showed up. That's why it was gone. All right. Any questions before we talk about? We got about 15 minutes left. We had the question on.
There are a bunch of questions. So if you want to go into maybe photos and maps and how they work, and then we'll get into a host of questions.
Okay. All right. So remember I said you load and it'll bring in the framework. Well, there's 2 places it's not going to save the framework, and that's your cover page. So it's just going to come up with a standard cover page. So you got to come in here and you got to select your cover page, and there's multiple cover pages you can select. Now, what you're not going to have is you're not going to have these custom pages up here. These are custom pages that RealNex has done for other companies that we just have access to. What you will have is everything below that. So all these portraits and then all the landscapes. All right, so you'll have access to those. Unless you've paid for us to do your custom pages, and then they'll be in here. And you can even search. If you've got a name, you can search for them. You can also view it in list view if you want to search for it that way, and then just click on one and it'll give you the preview here. I personally like it in list view better, but I lost the argument on the default template. I think, matter of fact, Jeff, I think you and Matt wanted the tile view and you guys outruled me. So, you know.
And note the newest thing, that star to the left, David. I think people will love that because there's so many. You can mark one your favorite. So if you have 2 or 3 that you like to use all the time, just pick those 2 or 3, and you never have to scroll through the whole list again. You just make those your favorites. They'll show up at the top. And then your custom, again, you can have multiple custom covers. And one of the questions was, on the header and footer, does that have to show up on every page? And we set up the custom cover, and when you do a cover, we also set up custom interior pages, and with those you can have, or not, the header and footer to show up and repeat the name and the disclaimer or whatever footer information you want along the bottom.
And so if I was in a section page, then I could come into options, and here's where I can do all my different footers. Now, this is going to, when you select this, this will be the footer for all the section pages, but not the cover page. Cover page is its own template, okay? Just keep in mind, you have the ability to select all these different ones. Once you select it, that's what it's going to be for all the pages. Where you have control of it is your custom PDFs, and that is no footer. So if you have a custom PDF that has a header and footer you already want on it, then you select, don't wrap it, or I think that was what it was called, wrapping it, or framing it. So uncheck frame, and then it will have that custom header and footer on a custom PDF. And remember, you can have up to 25 of those, multiple pages of each. All right. So cover page is one of the things you'll have to change. The other one is your property photos. So when I come to property photos, you're going to have one single page, and it's going to be in portrait, whether you've come up here and selected landscape or not, which you do from, where'd it go?
What are you looking for?
Everything's changing on me. Landscape, it used to be right here. I could select landscape or portrait.
I think that was that coming up with your cover page orientation.
Tim's been changing things on us. There's the logo, disclaimer, header, footer. Okay, well, I'll figure it out at some point. So if it's a portrait, and it may be that now when you select landscape here, I think it's going to go landscape. I think
that's what I was saying. It's determined by the cover page. The cover sets up your orientation.
Woo. Staying up with the changes. Yeah, that's a lot better. I like that. All right, so property photo. So you'll come in landscape, but there won't be anything here. So you come up, and if you click on, notice this, just how my cursor went from an arrow to a hand. If I click on that, that opens this up at the top, and now I can select my layout. Now, obviously, we're in landscape, so one photo would just be a whole photo on the page. Two photo A means two photos, which would be panoramic, because they'd be all the way across horizontally. Two photos B would be two photos vertically. Three photos A would be one on top, two on bottom. B would be two on top, one on bottom, and then of course you see four here, and then you have 5 and 6. So you just select the type you want and then bring those photos in. So that's how you edit the photos. If I need more than one page, because I have 3 pages, then I just click add page, and then I can add more pages. Okay, so that's how you do that.
And then of course you can pan, zoom, and focus in on any part of the photo that you like.
Yeah, so here's, if I click on this, now I can resize this photo. So for you build out enthusiasts out there, all right, build out, you can move it around, you can do all kinds of different things. You can do this with build out, and you could do fit, fill, all that stuff, but that's all you can do. With us, I can resize this thing and just focus this wherever I want to focus it. Okay, so build out can't do that. Just saying, let's just put that right there. So you can resize these, you can change them, you can click on, hit the little camera, change it to whatever you want to change it to. I don't want to change it. You've also got other things. So I can toggle captions, I can add or remove a link in here. I can fill the photo. So just like with build out, fit, fill, there's your fit, or I can move it around, or I can delete it, whatever you want to do with it. Okay, so photos, very, very customizable with our photos. If I want to, and here's a big thing on the cover page that a lot of people don't know, is I can come up here and click on my logo. I can change my logo to anything I want on my cover page. So if I didn't want that logo, I can go to the RealNex logo. Now, obviously on a white background, that wouldn't make sense, but maybe the black would. So now
Just to be clear, you can load your family of logos. David has a host of family because we're managing and working with all the different brands, but you wouldn't have other brands logos, obviously. You would have yours, but like he's saying, he's got a color or black to be on a white field, but if this was a full photo background and you were on the blue field, you might want that logo to be in white and use that variation to pop.
And you can upload up to 30 logos, your own logos. So yeah, that's correct. I want to put mine back in just because I like to look at mine. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. Let's see, what else can I show you? Did we have any questions on business maps? We're getting to the top of the hour. I need to get over to
get into maps. There were questions on where are maps coming from, but we didn't dig into maps. Let's go there, and then we'll try to knock out as many of the questions as we can.
All right. So real quick, you guys see how the 3D imagery happens? That happens just because I scrolled in. Okay. If I scroll out, this is downtown Mobile, Alabama. You know, it's Mobile. That's all I can say about that. The further I scroll in, and this is just like Google Earth, the further I scroll in, the closer I can come, and I can label different things. All right. So right now it's pulling from the property address, which happens to be my home address, by the way. So if I come over here and I select, if we look at Starbucks, where are we at here? So this is my house right here. Well, my pool's green in that picture. How about that? It's not green right now. It looks blue there. Anyway, this intersection is right around my corner. So you notice that this is a Winn-Dixie shopping center, right? So Wendy's, Firehouse Subs, and Winn-Dixie are all in the same shopping center. So instead of having all three of these, I can grab this and I can put it right on top of that, and I can put it, fine, I'll do it that way. And I can put that right on top of that. I can move it around. I can do whatever I want with it. I can resize it. So if I want to put some padding in there, grab this, make it look a little better, maybe size it. You know, however you want to do it, but you've got to have a logo in order to combine them. If it doesn't have a logo, it won't combine, okay?
And we load the system with logos. You don't have to worry about that.
Correct. So build out, you've got to load all your logos in yourself. With our system, they're API'd in. All your national, most of your regional firms all have these logos built in here. And you're not limited to retail. You can put whatever business you want in here. So if you want to find hospitals, for instance, you just put in hospitals, hit search, and then any hospitals in the area will show up. Now, Einstein Bagels is not a hospital, because it says restaurants. Yay. Hospitals, there we go. So there's Children's Home Society. So if I want to click on that, that should have populated on the map. I think my internet's coming to an end on me here. Oh, if I come out, here they are. All right, click on some of these. It's not populating them because I think my internet's finally slowing down on me. So, but that's how you can use this map. Now, if I were to stop here and go out, this is what it's going to save. So remember, whatever map you're looking for, if you don't want satellite, you want to take it to road map, you can. So whatever map you're wanting, and you go away at that point, it automatically saves it like this. So our system auto saves. You don't actually have to save anything. So it auto saves every 30 seconds by checking that. If you don't want it to auto save, uncheck and then it won't. Okay. And then of course you could always hit save. Any questions on the report builder at all while I move over to financials and answer the question on loans?
finish that one, and then we'll go rapid fire through what we can in the balance of the time.
All right, so we've got 5 different types of loans for your first loan. We've got fixed, interest only, balloon, adjustable, and assumed. Okay. Fixed is pretty simple. That's what most loans are. That's what most of your platforms are going to give you. They're not going to give you any other option. They may give you a second mortgage, so they'll give you a second loan, so you get loan 1 and 2, but it's just going to be fixed, both of them, and they're not going to do a refinance. It's just a first and a second in different models, and that's how they do it. Well, again, we're Argus Lite, so it allows us to be able to create a fixed loan. So if it's just like a Fannie Freddie fixed, you can do that. We can do an interest only. So if you have some kind of bridge loan or mezzanine debt and you're doing a value add property and you've got a 2 or 3 year mezzanine piece that's interest only, then we can make our loan 1 interest only. And in 5 years, that loan's going to be due. So we put interest only, 5 years, compounded monthly, whatever the interest is going to be, whatever our closing costs are, what the points are going to cost us, and we calculate, and then it'll calculate your monthly payment. Okay. Then when I get to loan 2, I can now do a refinance. And even in our CCIM models, for those of you that are CCIMs, you know that we cannot do a refinance inside of our spreadsheets that they have provided for us. And I've talked to Jeff Ingolstad, and I've talked to Joe Fisher, and everybody else who builds those spreadsheets, and none of them have been able to build in a refinance model into those sheets. Well, the geniuses at RealNex figured it out, and we have the ability to do that. So we just select refinance, put the next year in here, year 6. And so when you go into your projections, you'll see when we look at the, let's see, I think it's, well, if we look at loan analysis, we'll see that adjustment occur. So it actually puts it in the model. I think you can even see it in cash flow analysis where you see your cash flows will change. So our loan payment now shifts to a little bit of a lower payment because now we're amortizing, we're no longer interest only, and we get for a longer period. So that's how that happens inside there. The other thing you can do with this that's very powerful is when you're doing assumed, when you click on that, and I don't want to do it because I don't want to screw this up, but when you click on assumed, 2 more boxes will pop up. The first box that pops up is going to say original loan amount. So whatever the original loan was on the property, you put that in. And then the next box is going to ask for month of closing. So the month of that loan. So if it's been 5 years and we know 6 months from now we're going to close on this loan, that month would be 66. You hit calculate, it will automatically calculate what the debt's going to be when the property closes for that assumption. What it's not going to affect, which is great, is it won't come up here and affect your down payment, because even though you got a loan assumption, that lender's probably still going to want 25 or 30% down. If that's the case, you've got that up here, it will not affect it. So this allows you to still calculate a cash on cash return that'll be more accurate and your internal rate of return when you get there. So that this is extremely powerful. One other piece to this that a lot of people don't know about. If you get your income and expenses in, and you have to get them in first, you can then click these 3 little dots right here, and you can do a debt coverage ratio calculation. So if I put in a 1.25 calculation, now this isn't going to make sense because this is interest only, and I hit calculate, you can see that my debt amount's only $2,523,000. Again, it's because we're competing with interest only. So this would tell me if this is lower than my original loan amount that I put in for loan to value, that the lender is going to go with this number. I'd hit save. So this is where you can do lower of the loan to value or debt coverage ratio. If it's not lower, you just hit cancel and it keeps the one you have in here. Okay. Now again, because this is interest only, that didn't quite work right. But if this were fixed and amortizing, then it would look a lot more accurate. Okay.
If for those that want details. Perfect. So if you want more on the investment analysis, Jeff Fisher did a session on Tuesday. So go to our YouTube channel or our Facebook group, and both will be showing up there, so you can take a deeper dive into the investment analysis. We've got a bunch of questions and no time left, but let's take as many as we can as people have.
Yeah, no, I'm okay for questions if you are, Jeff.
Perfect.
For those
Let's
who want to stay. For those of you that don't want to stay and have other things to do, thank you guys for attending. Definitely check out next week's. I think I'll even be on that one. The deal room, again, is the most powerful part of this entire platform, so you've got to take a look at that. Thank you for coming, and those that have questions and want to hear the questions, we welcome you to stay for a little bit.
Perfect, and it'll all be recorded so people can pick it up in the recording. Let's see, I've got my own comps in a spreadsheet. I think we answered that. We've got an import engine, so just follow the map and your comps will come straight in. You can export the map, you can change your headers to fit the framework, and it comes in perfectly. Is it best to import into CRM or MarketEdge? I would suggest to go into CRM because you can do more, you can do other things in CRM with those comps as well. You may want to use it from a business development standpoint and prospecting for past sales, not just for your proposal. So if you have it in CRM, you can feed it into MarketEdge and you get the best of both worlds.
As a user, I put it in the CRM first.
Yeah. Can the import map be changed or edited? The map is fixed. You need to fit the map and the instructions describe how to deal with that.
And the caveat to that, Jeff, is on the business map, you can create annotations, you can draw polygons, you can shade areas. So on the business map, you can do a whole lot of things to it. We just can't change the underlying layers.
I was reading that as the import map on data, but you're exactly right on the physical map.
Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking maps.
We do not have a template built straight from CoStar, but again, you can just change your header, just change the column row, the column format and flow to fit our column structure, and that data can be brought in. Can you hyperlink in, for the infographic 1, 5, 10 mile and click on it? You may have some more information on that from your infographic. We can build hyperlinks, so I would think you could. I haven't done that, David, have you?
Well, I saw a hyperlink function earlier that I hadn't seen before, so I know he's getting it in here now. I don't know if we have it for these yet. Let me look real quick, and I don't remember where I saw it. It's a brand new addition. So while you're continuing to answer questions, I'm gonna look for it.
Yep. All right. Does the I think we answered this, the header, the SIG, and some appear on each page automatically? Yes, it does. If you set up your cover page and your header and footer to show, you just pick your custom header and footer in this case, and that'll apply. Or the system comes with standard headers and footers, which would apply as well, but these were custom, so a little bit different look and feel in this particular case. Atsuko, you're having some trouble accessing a site to do business. I think you need to maybe offline. David can help you, or someone at CCIM or site to do business can.
Atsuko and I are very good friends. Just text me, Atsuko. As soon as this is done, I'll help you with that.
Perfect. Did you say you come outside RealNex to another web tab to log into site to do business? Yes. You don't access RealNex from site to do business. From site to do business, you can apply to take advantage of the offer that we have through site to do business, which is the free service of MarketEdge for designees, or the discount for candidates. But you actually get into MarketEdge by going to realnex.com. They completely missed how do you access the marketing plan. Can you just show one more time how do you find the marketing plan? And I think you'll be able to pick it up on the replay. There will be a recording of this, so he can go back in and see the application of it. But there's just
The marketing plan came in when I created that template. If you remember here, marketing plan was one of the ones that came up here. If you're not using that, it will be down here in one of these. I believe it's under module reports. So you would grab it and just bring it up. It'll be titled marketing plan right here. So you won't have to worry about looking for it. You'll see it down here. You just have to search through down here. And again, you just grab it and bring it up and then edit it the way you need to edit it by hitting edit page.
Can you remove the extended gray lines on the right? So yeah, as you on this, it's formatting for the full page, and it doesn't just chop off at month 4. It's built, as David said, it's really designed to go out to 6 months, so that will show that way. A workaround, if you wanted, you could take a picture of it, cut and paste, and plot it back in. But right now, this is the format of that section. It does have that bar going all the way to the right.
This has never bothered me, and I've never had a prospect question it.
Can the marketing plan be modified for the tenant rep process? This marketing plan and MarketEdge is really designed for the sale of property. There is a leasing module for comparative lease analysis, and in CRM we have a timeline which is fantastic, which can be, again, you can create a PDF of and bring it in for a tenant rep process, or even a more detailed marketing plan process if you'd like to do that. We've had a number of different sessions. You might want to look to the guide me on timelines and see how that works, Jerry, and see if that can help you. So you'd have a great ability to showcase a tenant rep process using timelines in CRM. My MarketEdge is green and red. Is there a difference between the colors I should be aware of? So if you go back to colors, you set your primary and default colors for your company, and then those are the colors that will apply. So if you're not a green and red for Christmas and you want to be blue and gray, then you can just make your color whatever your company colors are. You put in the hex code or pick the color, and you'll have an exact match to your color combination. And they'll show up with the primary color and the accent color as appropriate. Is there a rent and sales comp summary page? So we have the charts and the detail. There's not a line item summary. If that's the question, Jim, we can add that.
It's really inside the opinion of value, but I know you're wanting to break that out. So this was my total opinion, and then here's my rent comp summary page and my sale comp summary page.
So I think this is what you're looking for. Yeah, that sales comparison that's got your summary information. If you're looking for something different, if you want to send us an example, you can take a look at that. Can you upload your own custom cover? No, we can build it for you. If you send us a cover exactly the way you want it to look, we can build that for you. Custom cover and interior pages in MarketEdge are $399, so really inexpensive to build, based on the time it takes to do the art and to make that happen. Then you have it for as many, as much as you want to use it. Does RealNex provide outsourced services? It's come up a few times. We are looking at staffing a team of marketing services professionals to help with building and maintaining databases, putting together proposals and presentations and these sorts of things. As I mentioned, actually, it came up again this morning. We likely would have had that in place if not for the COVID scenario that we're in right now. So I think as we get back to normalize business and can start to restaff, hire, engage, and build that team, we will look to do that and be able to provide these services on an outsourced basis. Where does the amortization rate go? 10 for 20, 25, or 30? Again, there's an in-depth analysis of investment analysis that you can look at it in Dr. Fisher's session, but the spreadsheet analyses that we have are up to 20 years. So you sort of tail out at year 20 based on where the amortization is then. Typically holding periods are 5 and 10. So often people will set up their analysis for a 5 or 10 year hold with a terminal value and an exit. But you can go up to 20 if you want to.
Right here is where you change your investment years. When you're in the projections, it's going to default to 20 and going to show you 20. You can't change this, but you change it from here on your report. Just come to options and change it right there.
Perfect. Yes, we have recorded all of the sessions that we're doing are recorded. They're all the different sessions are in 2 places. Sometimes you can find it in our blog as well, but we're hosting all of these on our YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube and type in RealNex. You'll find us there. Or we have a user group forum set up in Facebook for not just to host this, but to be interactive. So please do sign up for the Facebook user group, and that way during the day weeks between these sessions, you can post questions or issues, and David, Matt, Bobby, Tim, others will be monitoring that and trying to get back to you with answers as quickly as you can, and to share best practices among the community. If you have multiple proposals, how do you find them? So you go back to your general or your home table, you have all of your properties and projects there, and so that's your portfolio. And then there's a filter on the side where you can hone in and see ones that are active, things that are past, so you can get rid of 20 and only be focused on the 5 things that you're currently working on. And you can see in the top bar, you've got the ability to just type in project by name and find it that way as well. Okay, David Atsuko has solved his STD problem. You're good to go.
Good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're all good. It looks like we 13 minutes extra, but well worth it. So we covered all the questions. Great job, David, as usual. Thank you, everyone. Hope you're all doing well, and appreciate your taking advantage of this time to advance your knowledge and expertise and use of the RealNex platform. So we will see you next week. A lot scheduled. We'll be sending out a note tomorrow with a schedule for next week, and I also have a special webinar next week with Blaine Strickland, another great CCIM coach and trainer and author. Just wrote a new book called Adapt. Disruption is coming. Are you ready? And we're really excited to hear what he's got to say and give you some great tips on how to prepare for the new world that we're
Great timing on that book.
into. Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Everyone. Always be prospecting.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, Jeff.